I'm calling this council of the whole meeting for May the 14th, 2024, to order at 7 p.m. In attendance, all members of council are present, all members of the administration are present. If there's anyone recording this meeting as courtesy to the public, please identify yourself so that your fellow attendees know they are being recorded. Seeing no one, the city of Eastlake is recording this meeting. Under legislation proposed 051404, a resolution accepting the tax budget for 2025 as presented by the finance director and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. This is the formal tax process that we go through every year. It states in writing that there is a need for our tax dollars. It has our allocation in terms of how we have decided to spread the money to the different funds has not changed at all, but it's just merely telling the county that we definitely need the cash.
Any questions for our finance director? Next item, 051402, a resolution recognizing the broad duty to affirmatively further fair housing in the city of Eastlake, Lake County, Ohio, and declaring an emergency.
I can do that. Thank you. This is another one of those where it's a formal process so that we can apply to the county for CDBG money, and this is just one of the steps that we need to make sure that the city is affirmatively further fair housing, and so that's what the resolution states.
Any questions? 051403, a resolution authorizing the mayor and director of finance to file an application with the Lake County Planning Commission for funds through the Competitive Community Development Block Grant Program for the term of October 1st, 2024 through September 30th, 2025, and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. This is the time of year where we're required to submit our request for our application for CDBG money. And so we're asking permission to file an application and to accept any funds should we be awarded those funds.
Any questions? Next item, 051404, an ordinance authorizing the mayor of the city of Eastlake to enter into an agreement with the Lake County Board of Commissioners to participate in the Urban Entitlement Community Development Block Grant Program.
Again, another piece of the CDBG program where we're requesting that any funds be made available that we would apply for Housing and Community Development Act.
Okay. Well, I want to finish that one. Program for the utilization of funds made available by Housing and Community Development Act of 1974 as amended and declared an emergency. Any questions for Commissioner Bell? 051405, an ordinance to reappropriate for the expenses of the city of Eastlake, state of Ohio, for the period of January 1st, 2024, and ending December 31st, 2024, and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. This year we put some repairs into the stadium, but there was an unexpected repair required, and then the hot water tank. Hot water tank's pretty necessary up there, especially as they're serving food. It's approximately a $15,000 hot water tank, so I needed to ask you if we could change the budget in order to pay for this hot water tank that we are required to put in.
Any questions for the finance director? 051406, a resolution authorizing the mayor and director of finance to apply for and accept a grant for Eclipse staffing for the Environmental Protective Agency for the total amount of $3,312.25 and declaring an emergency.
So when we staffed up for the Eclipse, there was funds available through the state of Ohio through the EPA for reimbursement. So hopefully we filed the proper paperwork. We put in for reimbursement of the additional staff. We couldn't put in for staffing that was already on duty, so we applied extra personnel that day for the duration of, or at least most of the duration of the event. We just applied for hopefully we'll see that might
calling this regular council meeting of May the 14th, 2024, to order at 7:05 p.m. Mr. Senate, would you lead us in the pledge?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Kacinek?
Here.
Mr. Myers?
Here.
Ms. Kraniak?
Here.
Ms. Schmidt? Here. Mr. Stelman?
Here.
Mr. Evans?
Here.
Mr. Overstreet?
Here. Is there a motion to approve the agenda for the regular council meeting of May 14th, 2024? Is there a second? Second. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Stelman?
Yes.
Mr. Kacinek?
Yes.
Mr. Myers?
Yes.
Ms. Kraniak?
Yes.
Ms. Schmidt?
Yes.
Mr. Stelman?
Yes.
Mr. Overstreet?
Yes. Motion carried, the agenda is approved. Approval of the minutes. Is there a motion to approve the minutes for the regular council meeting of April the 23rd, 2024? Is there a second?
Second.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Myers?
Yes.
Ms. Kraniak?
Yes.
Mr. Kacinek?
Yes.
Ms. Schmidt?
Yes.
Mr. Stelman?
Yes.
Mr. Stelman?
Yes.
Mr. Overstreet?
Yes. The next regularly scheduled council of the whole meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, May the 28th, 2024, at 7 p.m. with the regular council meeting immediately following the adjournment of the council of the whole meeting. We have one motion on the table for tonight.
Thank you, Mr. President. A motion to approve the liquor license transfer number 8980215 from Forest Indoor Sports East Lake LLC, pool, volleyball, and patio to Toka East Lake LLC, located at 34650 Linz Parkway, East Lake, Ohio, 44095.
Is there a second?
Second.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Myers?
Yes.
Ms. Kraniak?
Yes.
Mr. Kacinek?
Yes.
Ms. Schmidt?
Yes.
Mr. Stelman?
Yes.
Mr. Stelman?
Yes.
Mr. Overstreet?
Yes. Motion carried. Motion is approved. Were there any committee reports? No committee reports. We'll move on to the recognition of the public. The floor is now open for recognition of the public. We remind speakers that all remarks will be directed to the chair and not involve personalities and are limited to 3 minutes per person, 30 minutes total time. Is there anyone who wishes to address council? Mr. Fiala.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to hand out some information.
Sure.
Thank you, Mr. Council, President, member of the council, and everybody. We're here tonight to help or try to explain our next Gen 911 committee, which is a committee that was supposed to have been formed months ago, and would actually create what I think is going to be the framework for county local dispatch centers going forward. The way, what you're seeing is memorandum from myself, but behind it is the state statute that actually identifies how municipalities can pick their representative for this committee. So the cities get one representative, the townships and villages, the county commissioners can pick one representative, and Commissioner Hammercheck will be the county representative. I'm going to read this exactly how it reads as it relates to cities. It says, a member of the legislative authority of a municipal corporation in the county, selected by the majority of the legislative authorities of municipal corporations in the county pursuant to the resolution they adopt. The short version is this. The current interpretation is that a mayor cannot sit on this committee. It needs to be one councilman, as selected by all the councilmen of at least a majority of the cities. So we've got 8 cities. Men are automatically have a seat, by the way. So a majority of 7 cities, councils have to pick one councilman to sit on this. We strongly disagree with the interpretation because it makes no sense. And my memorandum explains that. First of all, it excludes 2 things. the trustees and the villages and townships, there are 3 people, and they're voting themselves. So they have the ability to vote within themselves, one of their own members. So the narrow definition of legislative authority, in our opinion, is way too narrow. What it says is that it needs to be a councilman. It needs to be voted by at least 7 other councils, and that's the short story. What we're interested in is that we're still talking, we're reaching out to the state for interpretation and other entities, but as of right now, what we're asking is that you would consider, not this evening, but future legislation to allow, in the absence that I cannot sit as a safety director, mayor, our council president, Robert Carr, sit as that representative. The reason we think this is important for the West End communities is most of us, of the 6 West End communities, 4 of us have dispatch centers. And I think I want to speak for our safety forces, but most of us want to keep them for as long as we can. And we'd like a representative from our side of town expressing our concern that we think the city should have the right to make determination as to their dispatch centers and their operations. So I'm open. I hope I explained that satisfactorily to you, but I'm open for questions. The key, there's 2 things that in the next few days we should hear whether I would be allowed to be considered. In my absence, where I would be considered, I know that he'd be an advocate for the Western Lake County cities and the city dispatch centers. And what we would then do, if you're inclined to do this, and we don't need an answer this evening, we ask your law director, working with our law director, to help craft the legislation to do that. So I'm open for questions, and that's kind of a long, short version of this.
Any questions?
I have one, Mayor. Is there any chance in the future that you guys are looking at changing the actual law so that it includes administrative and not just legislative?
I'm sorry, in terms of the dispatch center?
Well, in terms of the law that it's saying legislative authority and versus legislative members, could that law be changed? Can the order be changed?
When you borough like rule, I can understand the narrow legal interpretation.
Right.
I think it was supporting the written statute.
Sure.
That's just my opinion. But if you look at it, stated October 23rd of 2023, just so you know that Mayor Morley and I, the last time we were on committee, Mayor Morley and I were both on it. You know, Dave Spot and I are both excluded. So we're appealing right now, having discussions with the state legislature to kind of just say that the definition is closer now. And we're asking a lot of council. I mean, we're asking 7 cities, 7 councils, 48 people, most of which have got no Bob Carr to select him as their representative. And that's just too much to ask of the city council. So we're going to continue the discussions within the next week. We should have a determination. But if you're so inclined to let that legislation reduce to select either myself or Bob Carr, depending on where this falls out. And I can share with you that we will be an advocate for East Lake. We'll be an advocate for all the East of Western Lake County.
Thank you.
Is there a reason you think that, we might get creative with that, but is there a reason we even care about this statutory?
Well, actually, the fact we're taking it, and Commissioner Hammercheck actually supports that. This is exactly to me where I'm the chairman of the committee. I can work with our law director, and we think that a mayor should be seated. And so we've got 2 interpretations. We just want to make sure that we don't go downstream too far with this and somebody tries to follow. But I would hope, Randy, you could work with Mike on this if council allows us to work on language out.
Yeah, I think it's for the statute.
So, so, anything else? Well, thank you for listening to my rant. I appreciate it. Have a great evening.
Thank you.
We have one other person on the list to speak, Empire Small Engine.
I'm not here to explain.
The reason why I'm here is I'm in a public setting, and I heard previously seated Councilwoman Huntington talk about she'd like to get a flag box, put up 3 or 500 flag boxes, so people can respectfully put any flag they want up in that box, and it will be disposed of respectfully because no one else throw in the trash. As a veteran, I don't see flaggers, red, white, and blue, stars and stripes. See their names, faces, far braver people than I am, people that I spent their last few moments with, holding it for that. So I think it's a great idea, being that you own operating business. Look at it publicly, we get 30% of our profits back to the city, like, not as to the city, but to the community. We never say no to anything that comes to our door asking for money, donations, or whatever. Here it is, big. This year we superseded the 20,000 that we gave last year. So I'm here tonight, I know the box is like $2,000 for a good one. So I'm here to kickstart this. I'm gonna give it to, our finance director. So $2,000, here's $500. I would love to see this by the 4th of July. I think it's an oversight that we had with the Bureau of Flag. Councilwoman had the insight to get it done. It's not right. It's just us doing what Empire does. All our social media, it's what we do. We just give that to our community. So we want it exclusively for the Flag Box. And if anybody can reach out to the Women's Club, I'm curious who got the scholarship this year. We're always excited to see, because we match it every year for the Women's Club. We're excited to see who got it this year. Thanks for your time again. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else wish to address council? Seeing none, we'll move on to legislation proposed. Will the clerk please read legislation 051401?
A resolution accepting the tax budget for 2025 as presented by the Director of Finance and declaring an emergency.
Is there a motion to suspend the rule requiring separate readings and readings in full? Is there a second?
Second.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Myers?
Yes.
Ms. Craniac?
Yes.
Mr. Katsounis?
Yes.
Ms. Schmidt?
Yes.
Ms. Pastelnick?
Yes.
Mr. Semick?
Yes.
Mr. Overstreet?
Yes. Is there a motion to adopt? Move to adopt. Is there a second?
Second.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Myers?
Yes.
Ms. Craniac?
Yes.
Mr. Katsounis?
Yes.
Ms. Schmidt?
Yes.
Ms. Pastelnick?
Yes.
Mr. Semick?
Yes.
Mr. Overstreet?
Yes. The motion carries, the legislation is adopted. Will the clerk please read legislation 051402?
A resolution recognizing the broad duty to affirmatively further fair housing in the city of Eastlake, Lake County, Ohio, and declaring an emergency.
Is there a motion to suspend the rule requiring separate readings and readings in full? Is there a second?
Second.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Semick?
Yes.
Ms. Pastelnick?
Yes.
Mr. Katsounis?
Yes.
Mr. Myers?
Yes.
Ms. Craniac?
Yes.
Ms. Schmidt?
Yes.
Mr. Overstreet?
Yes. Is there a motion to adopt? Move to adopt. Is there a second?
Second.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Semick?
Yes.
Ms. Pastelnick?
Yes.
Mr. Katsounis?
Yes.
Mr. Myers?
Yes.
Ms. Craniac?
Yes.
Ms. Schmidt?
Yes.
Mr. Overstreet?
Yes. The motion carries, the legislation is adopted. Will the clerk please read legislation 051403?
A resolution authorizing the mayor and director of finance to file an application with the Lake County Planning Commission for funds to the competitive community development block grant program for the term of October 1st, 2024 through September 30th, 2025, and declaring an emergency.
Is there a motion to suspend the rule requiring separate readings and readings in full?
So moved.
Is there a second? Second. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Ms. Craniac?
Yes.
Mr. Semick?
Yes.
Mr. Katsounis?
Yes.
Mr. Myers?
Yes.
Ms. Schmidt?
Yes.
Ms. Pastelnick?
Yes.
Mr. Overstreet?
Yes. Is there a motion to adopt?
Move to adopt.
Is there a second? Second. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Ms. Craniac?
Yes.
Mr. Semick?
Yes.
Mr. Katsounis?
Yes.
Mr. Myers?
Yes.
Ms. Schmidt?
Yes.
Ms. Pastelnick?
Yes.
Mr. Overstreet?
Yes. The motion is carried, the legislation is adopted. Will the clerk please read legislation 051404?
An ordinance authorizing the mayor of the city of Eastlake to enter into an agreement with the Lake County Board of Commissioners to participate in the Urban Entitlement Community Development Block Grant Program, and and for the utilization of funds made available by the Housing and Community Development Act of 1974 as amended and declaring an emergency.
Is there a motion to suspend the rule requiring separate readings and readings in full?
No.
Is there a second?
Second.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Ms. Schmidt?
Yes.
Mr. Semick?
Yes.
Mr. Kaczynski?
Yes.
Mr. Myers?
Yes.
Ms. Kraniak?
Yes.
Mr. Zelnit?
Yes.
Mr. Overstreet?
Yes. Is there a motion to adopt? Is there a second?
Second.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Ms. Schmidt?
Yes.
Mr. Semick?
Yes.
Mr. Kaczynski?
Yes.
Mr. Myers?
Yes.
Ms. Kraniak?
Yes.
Mr. Zelnit?
Yes.
Mr. Overstreet?
Yes. The motion is carried, the legislation is adopted. Will the clerk please read legislation 051405?
An ordinance to reappropriate for the expenses of the city of East Lake, state of Ohio, for the period beginning January 1st, 2024, and ending December 31st, 2024, and declaring an emergency.
Is there a motion to suspend the rule requiring separate readings and readings in full?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Ms. Kraniak?
Yes.
Mr. Zelnit?
Yes.
Mr. Kaczynski?
Yes.
Mr. Myers?
Yes.
Ms. Schmidt?
Yes.
Mr. Semick?
Yes.
Mr. Overstreet?
Yes. Is there a motion to adopt?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Ms. Kraniak?
Yes.
Mr. Zelnit?
Yes.
Mr. Kaczynski?
Yes.
Mr. Myers?
Yes.
Ms. Schmidt?
Yes.
Mr. Semick?
Yes.
Mr. Overstreet?
Yes. The motion is carried, the legislation is adopted. Will the clerk please read legislation 051406?
A resolution authorizing the mayor and director of finance to apply for and accept a grant for eclipse staffing from the Environmental Protective Agency for a total of $3,312.25 and declaring an emergency.
Is there a motion to suspend the rule requiring separate readings and readings in full? Is there a second? Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Semick?
Yes.
Mr. Kaczynski?
Yes.
Mr. Myers?
Yes.
Ms. Kraniak?
Yes.
Ms. Schmidt?
Yes.
Mr. Zelnit?
Yes.
Mr. Overstreet?
Yes. Is there a motion to adopt?
Move to adopt.
Second?
Second.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Semick?
Yes.
Mr. Kaczynski?
Yes.
Mr. Myers?
Yes.
Ms. Kraniak?
Yes.
Ms. Schmidt?
Yes.
Mr. Zelnit?
Yes.
Mr. Overstreet?
Yes. Motion is carried, the legislation is adopted. There is no legislation pending, there's no unfinished business, there's no new business. We'll move on to administrative reports. Safety Director and Mayor, Mr. Simon.
Thank you, Mr. President. Welcome. First, I'd like to say thoughts and prayers to the Euclid Police Department and the family of Officer Desmond. The cricket club played over the weekend over at Crucini. They're very happy with the grounds, and they're working on a schedule, and I have it available. I'll send it out, so you guys can go check them out. Local government fund meeting is this Thursday at 6 o'clock at Auburn. Public meeting, encourage all members of council to attend. I'd like to thank Mayor Fiala and the leadership. This is, we have a formula, and we get required votes to get adopted. The formula of stop loss at 10% of the current number. It'll be carried for 10 years. I'll provide a spreadsheet to the council members once this is confirmed, this formula, and you guys have to vote on it and approve it. Senior Center, having attic indoor garage sale this Saturday, 9 to 3. And Mr. Myers and I are working on a citywide garage sale again. It'll be June 15th and 16th. So if anybody's interested, please contact Vice President Myers or myself to participate. And with that, I'll open the question.
Any questions from the mayor? Seeing none, Archie, what do you think?
Thank you, Mr. President. I too would like to express our sadness of the murder of Euclid Officer Durbin. Hopefully we all as a community keep his family in our prayers and thoughts. We've also, the fire department, East Lake Fire Department stands ready to support Euclid any way that they need it over the next week or so. I know that they've had a lot of time, so just kind of keep his prayer, his family in our prayers. Our summer schedule kind of kicked off already, so you might have either seen or heard, as well as the members of the department every year, we take them out on our boat, our jet ski, everybody's got to be proficient how to operate those, everybody's got to be proficient how to do, basic rescue. So I think everybody in the department has finished their training on that. And then we're wrapping up, we took the safety trailer to the elementary schools the last couple of weeks to do our safety trailer talk to the kids. So guys have been real busy, we've been trying to take advantage of some of the nicer weather. So if you haven't heard or if you see them out there, that's what we're trying to get done. We'll have a couple more training things to do this summer. We're required by federal law to set North High School up sometime this summer, be evaluated by FEMA because of the new plant in North High School. If you don't know, the Care Center and the event that there would be a FAA ferry. Anybody that lives in that emergency planning zone, which is 10 miles, would be sent to north. So this is our year to do that. So I think we're up to 5 sessions. We do one with each shift, and then we do a dry run and we get it graded from FEMA. So we'll be doing that this summer. So again, summertime's are always kind of fun for people to go outside and get to do things we probably don't do during winter. But that's questions.
I do have one question for you, Chief. I wasn't sure, I know we're talking about the flag box, and I know that there used to be a ceremony in the back, and that hasn't been done for a while. Is that something that can be done again? If we're gonna have a box there, it would make sense that we would then also be able to have that ceremony.
So several years we transitioned out of that. We took the vault out of the back.
Okay.
We had a vault back there.
Right.
And then for a while, we actually were jumping around the different crematoriums that would do it for us. So I'm not sure that since then, if there's any of the crematoriums that are actually would be willing to help us. So I think that that's been a big gap for us.
Okay.
Is finding someone that actually, so we haven't had a formal ceremony to actually honor, the flags that are being retired. But what we try to do, again, because I agree that, we should honor our flag. What we try to do is sometimes be clearinghouse to take it somewhere else. But I know that that's not always an easy thing to do. There's a lot of rules for crematorium. So the actual things that are actually on flags that fixes it to a pole have to be removed and different things like that. So we do our best to honor retired flags, and then occasionally we'll try to reach out to somebody to do it. But we do not have any formal processes or ceremonies anymore. The vault, if you remember, the vault was behind City Hall. And I think that there was something that failed in it, so we removed the vault, so we just don't do it back there anymore.
Okay.
Oh, that was fine.
That's great.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Yep.
Police chief, are you ready?
We are assisting with Euclid, just kind of staying on guard for whatever they need. We'll be sending officers. Friday is actually the police Memorial Week this week anyway. We have a couple cars going down to the parade on Friday, and then that leads to the ceremony and the putting of the officers on the wall from the previous year. Friday afternoon is the show in Parma, and then we have some cars already set, and heading out to Seven Hills on Saturday for the church service procession and burial. So, just trying to fill in any gaps we can to help them. June 10th will be our safety town for the week. Stephanie is getting all that set up. I appreciate Councilperson Schmidt helping get us some bike helmets that we'll be able to give away, and then she was also able to assist our department with getting some other items for victim advocates and help with some of the people that we deal with on a regular basis. We interviewed Wednesday, hopefully be hiring some people soon. Lieutenant Maloney has worked his last day. He is officially off the books June 15th. So a lot of transition over the next couple months, but try to keep up and be as ready as we can. That's all I have. Questions?
Any questions for the chief?
Mr. President, if I could, the mayor just clarified that John is actually doing flags for us at this point. The John funeral is actually one to our premiere.
Good job.
Yeah, so there's our current funeral of this man. So
Okay.
the mayor did clarify that one.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you. Our chief building official, please, in.
Actually, have a report.
So instead of Novo, I hear it's now Luggett Pro. The slogan. With that, we probably in the last few weeks put out 400 plus notices for grass, which I think is just totally ridiculous. And with that, you guys think we have to go back and check on them. So you got 400, you got 800 tops, but you got to go back. And with that, we also occasionally miss some. How, I don't know, but we do. I've done it. We all now we're also seeing people are putting signs in their yard that says when they will mow, or who turned me in with a violation with even permits or grass notices or whatever. It's just an unusual thing to do. With that, we have chickens. Chickens, a lot of questions with chicken stuff too. It's again very popular. We do have an ordinance that was put in last year that if you're new, you can't get no more than 6 chickens. And then there's also stuff where you can put the hens, chickens. That's it for my report.
Any questions for Mr. Min? Our service director, Kevin Costello. Thank you, Mr. President. I'm not sure who woke up Mr. Min. I usually don't say, I know. So the service department has recently finished the mulching of all the city hall and parking for, parks throughout the city, which is approximately 100 yards of mulch is what it takes. And currently, outside the building here today, right now, is Cub Scout Pack 83, who's planting all the flowers for us once again. And their leader, pack leader, is Dale McFarland. We've been working with them for about 7 or 8 years now. Every year they come out and plant flowers for us at City Hall. So I'd like to recognize them and thank them for that. We've also completed the repairs of the section of parking lot that we have planned for this year. That is complete. The salt delivery is completed. We received all our salt, and now it's just a matter of getting it into our bin, which is going well. And I did receive notice from David Williams that they are now looking at the last week of May and the first week of June to start construction on the spray park. Any questions for Mr. Seeing none, our city engineer, Mr. Milich. Milich, right? Milich, okay.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of council, Mr. Mayor. Still waiting from ODOT to get the final schedule, or what they call a approved schedule for the Vine Street project. More so to give us notice of when they will be in East Lake. Currently, they're working in Little Lake, moving towards East Lake. So I'm waiting on that schedule so I can give everyone here an update. Other than that, I have no other project updates. We're waiting for July for the OPWC grant to be finalized, and then we will come with a resolution to authorize Lakeland and 347.
Any questions? Seeing none, our finance director, Janelle.
Thank you. First of all, I'd like to thank Mayor Fiala for doing a lot of work on local government. There was a significant potential hit that the city of East Lake was exposed to, and thanks to all his hard work, that has been hopefully minimized. I'd also like to say that if you go to that meeting on Thursday night, I don't know what the meeting's going to be like. I can't ever think of one that has happened while I've been around, but I want you to know that if they use the word fair, because someone might say, well, we don't think this is fair. That's because they're talking about population, and they're talking about money based on population. So here has a lot of different definitions, and when you're in a city, we're responsible for infrastructure. We have to put in the sewer line. We have a whole building department. There's a lot of work that cities are required to do. And I live in the township, and if it snows really hard, I have to wait for the county to come by and clean it. I have to put in my own septic system and well. I don't rely on the city to do this, when here in the city, you wouldn't rely on that. So the definition of fair for a person living in a township might say, well, I should get the same dollar per person as everybody else does. And yet in a city, you're required to do that infrastructure, and the township relies on the county or the state for all that work. My permit, I don't have a building department. I gotta go to the county someplace, you know? So we rely so totally on the county that I just want you to understand that should someone use that word fair, they may not be using it the same way you're going to be thinking of it. So, again, I don't know, but that word has popped up, and I just want you all to know that there was a lot of work done on this, so that the city dealt with this potential huge sum of money, and it was all based on someone thinking fair was per person versus fair means who has our infrastructure that they're responsible for, that maybe they're not. The auditors are in our office, keeping us busy, and that's the end of my report. I don't have any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Bell? Seeing none, this meeting is adjourned at 7:37.
I did it again. Sorry. I was just gonna comment, I've never seen Carol Ann so fired up. Sorry, that's good. Any questions for the law director? Okay, now it's 7:37.